Hello dear students, in our previous video we have studied about the user defined function. There are four types of UDF: no argument no return, with argument no return, no argument with return, and with argument with return. And we have performed practicals based on the same, right? In today's video I am going to teach you regarding two concepts, that is call by value and call by reference. The same topic we have already discussed in the C language. So let us start with the example of call by value. This is our first program of our today's session. I will explain the concept after I have write the programs. After that I will explain the difference between call by value and call by reference. Example of call by value. I would like to start with the concept of call by value. Has include iostream.h and has include conio.h. Void my value. I am going to create one UDF, right? Then void main. I am going to develop the body of void main, CLR SCR and get ch. In that I require to declare value of two variable, and I am going to initialize it at the time of declaring that variable. Then I am going to call my value function. I am going to pass two values, 10, 20, cout \n a cout \n b. Now let us develop the body of UDF my value, integer m, integer n. As I have told you in my previous video that you can take any variable over here, no need to take a and b again, right? Whatever variable you want to take, you can take. Why? Because the life of this variable would be up till the block remains as it is. Once the block is completed, at that time the variable which is declared by the function will automatically deleted or removed or erased from the memory of computer, and whatever the variable we have declared inside the void main, the life of that variable would be up till the block in which it is declared. So the variable a and b both are different from the variable m and n. We are just going to pass the value of a to m and b to n. I will teach you later on. First of all, let me complete the program. M equals to 100 and n equals to 200. Now over here also I am going to print the value of m, and over here I am going to print the value of n. Let me save the given code. This is the program number 55, because 54 program we have already done, right? Now let me take one new example also, because I want to compare both the programs and I want to teach you the difference between call by value and call by reference. So same program we are going to perform. File, new, example of call by reference. Need to include two header file, iostream.h and conio.h. h void. Over there we have declared my value function. I am going to declare my reference integer. Now this is the first changes you need to do, that while declaring the function you need to pass the reference. Reference is nothing but it is the address of variable which we are going to pass inside the my reference UDF. So for that you need to use ampersand sign to pass the reference, or we can say address of variable. Now void main function. Now whatever code we have declared inside the my value function, similar code we are going to pass over here. A equals to 10, b equals to 20. I have taken the same code over here so that I can show you the difference between these two functions. My reference A and B, cout \n, whatever the line we have written inside the my value program, that is program number 55, the same code I am going to apply over here. I will tell you the difference where we are going to make. Over here my reference we have taken, over there we have taken my value function. Now over here we have just passed ampersand sign to get the address of variable instead of the actual value we have passed through the variable. \n m cout \n variable. Now let me save the given code by the P56 program. Now let us see the difference between these two programs. Only 2 line difference is there, remaining code remains as it is. This is the example of call by value. This is the demonstration regarding the call by reference. 2 header files we need to include in both the programs. Over here this function works for the value, that's why I have taken the name my value. Over here it is given to the reference, so I have passed the reference. Now over here I have passed 2 integer argument because I am going to pass 2 values regarding the integer data. Only the changes while you are going to declare the function is that you just passed the address of the variable in my reference function. So what is the use of passing reference when you want to store the address of that particular variable, or we can say when you want to pass the value of you want to pass the address of variable. At that time you can use the reference variable, and the operator which is used to pass the reference is ampersand variable, right? So this symbol you can use to catch the address of variable. So this is the first changes which you need to perform in the program. Over here I have, okay, tell me, this is a UDF. Which kind of UDF we have declared over here? Out of 4 types of UDF, this UDF is developed using which type of user defined function? Can you guess which type of function, or we can say UDF we have developed over here? See over here we have passed argument, right? So it is with argument, but we have used void over here. There is no other data type we have used. So we can say that this is with argument, no return function, because our user defined function does not contain any return statement over here, right? Or we can say in the void main, while I call the UDF, at that time no variable has been used to catch the value which is written by the UDF. Whatever the concept I have taught you in the previous video, that is cleared by you, then and then only you are able to understand the given whatever the statements I have given to you, right? So first of all, how I can say that this function does not return value? From the first thing, that is the return type void over here. The void is used when you are not passing any value to when you are not passing any return statement to the UDF, right? At that time you can use void. Number 2, our UDF does not contain any return statement. So through that also I can say that the UDF does not return any value. From the third point, suppose my UDF returns any value, at that time while calling my UDF, I need to take one variable over here, right? And through that variable I can call my function. So over here I have not declared any variable while I call the function. So from these 3 points I can say that the function or UDF which I have declared over here does not return any value, right? So this is the with argument no return UDF. Now what I have performed inside void main, I have declared two variables a and b. At the time of declaration of variable, I am going to initialize the value of variable a by 10 and b by 20, right? So in the memory there are two boxes which is created by a and b. It stores 10 into the a and 20 into the b. Then I have called my value function. The my value function I have called with the 10 and 20. So my value is called and 10 is stored inside the m and 20 is stored inside the n. Is that clear to everyone? So now value of m would be 10 and value of n would be 20. Now what happens when I jump into the my value function? At that time I am going to override the value of m by 100 and n by 200. So while I called my value function, at that time value of m would be of 10 and value of n would be of 20. But after the execution of this bracket and opening bracket, after that I have override the value of m and n by 100 and 200, right? So now when I am going to print the value of m and n, at that time it will print 100 and 200 on the screen, right? The value of m would be 100 and value of n would be of 200. Up till now, any doubt regarding this? Let me clear once again. I am going to declare my value function over here with argument no return function is there. Then the execution starts from void main, the brackets open. After that we are going to declare two variables. We are going to initialize again two values. A contains 10, B contains 20. After that it will clear the screen. After that the third line my value, we are going to call the function my value by passing two values 10 and 20. It is cached by the m and n variable. 10 is stored inside m and 20 is stored inside the n. But after that when it goes inside the UDF, at that time value of m becomes 100 and value of n becomes 200. That means we are going to override the value. After that I am going to print the value of m and n. Naturally it is overwritten and the value of m and n would be of 100 and 200. So using this line it will print 100 and 200. After printing 100 and 200, this this UDF is completed. So again it will go into the next line because the functionality of UDF is completed. Now this statement is executed. Now what it will print? The value of A would be 10 and value of B would be of 20. Why? Because we are passing value That means the blocks in which A and B is declared, it remains as it is in the call by value. So the given code will print 10 and 20. So when you run this particular program, at that time output would be 100, 200, 10 and 20. Why? Because we have passed or we have used that function using call by value. Let me run the given program. See the output. The 100 and 200 are the values of variable m and n, and the 10 and 20 would be variable value a and b. Now let me run the program number 56, that is call by reference. What happens in call by reference? See over here, we have used the sign ampersand while we are going to declare the UDF, right? So instead of passing values inside the variable, what we people do, we are just passing the address of that particular variable, right? So for that, suppose while I am going to run the program, at that time I will start with the main function. In the memory, two values is declared. A, it is initialized by 10 and B, it is initialized by 20. After that, it will clear the screen. After that, it will call the my reference function. In that I have passed A and B. In A I have passed 10, in B I have passed 20, right? Now over here it will catch the address of A. So remember one thing, whatever address which is there in the memory, right, that address I am going to pass in the M, right, and in N I am going to pass the address of B. So what happens, the value has been overwritten by the M and N. It would be reflected into the A and B. That means it will override the value of A and B. What is the reason? Because we have passed address over here. We have not passed value over here, right? So whatever the location, it would be address of, it refers the address of A, right, and it will reflect to the, it will going to override the value of A. It is by 10, instead of 10 now it becomes 100. So this line naturally prints the value of M and N by 100 and 200, but while you are going to print the value of A and B using reference, at that time also it will print 100 and 200. The reason why it is overwritten, because we are passing address of A and address of B over here, right? So it is reflected to the A and B also. Let me run the given code. Our previous program, that is called by value, it will print 100, 200, 10 and 20, because A, B, M and N are four variables which is separate in the memory, right? But in the call by reference variable, you are having the same address location for the individual variables, right? So M and N refers to the address of A and B, right? So whatever the value you are going to initialize into the M and N, it is overwritten in the variable of A and B. I want to share one Word file with you people. Now see over here, I have made the call by value and call by reference inside the memory. That structure I have drawn over here. Let us discuss call by value first. When you declare the value A, variable A and variable B, it creates one memory box that the address of variable A would be 1000, say for example, and B location would be 1001, and the value which we are going to initialize in the variable A would be of 10 and in the B it would be of 20. When you call the function call by value, at that time we have declared two variables, that is m and n, right? Again it contains the address of their own, right? The initial value when we are calling the function call by value, at that time we are passing 10 into the m and we are passing 20 into the b, right? After that what we people do, we are just overwriting that value. See over here, while we have called the function, at that time we have passed 10 in the a, so m contains 10 and n contains 20. After that we have overwrite the value of m and n in the call by value, so it becomes 100, right? Similarly over here it becomes 200. So while you are going to print m and n, at that time it will print 100 and 200, and while you are trying to print a and b, at that time it will print 10 and 20. Why? Because while you are declaring or using call by value technique, at that time separate variables are created in the memory. This is the memory location or address I have assumed, and this is the value which we are going to store inside the variable. But inside the memory, 4 variables are created at the different location in the memory while you are using call by value function. But while you are using call by reference technique, at that time initially the a and b is created, the value of a is 10 and value of b is 20. After that 1000 is the memory address in which a is stored, and 1001 is the memory address for b. Is that clear up till now? Now what happens while you are going to call the function my reference, at that time the value of m stores the address of a, right? So the address of a would be of 1000, right? And address of b would be of 1001. See over here, initially it stores the value of a, right? And value of b is stored inside the n. But right now while we are passing it by reference, at that time it will store the address of a and it will store address of b. Now what happens, the second line is you are going to change the value of m by 100. But m by 100 means what? That location m contains what? 1000, so it is reflected into the a and value is changed inside the b. So we can say that we are going to override the value of a and value of b in the reference function. Why? Because it is used to store the address of variable, it is not going to store the values directly. So it is going to override in this. It keeps the separate address, or we can say separate variables is created in the memory. But when you are using call by reference technique, at that time the whatever the address of particular variable, that is stored inside the m and n. So while you are going to make a changes inside m and n, it is directly reflected to the value of a and b, because we are referring the memory or address of variable a and b. So that value is overwritten, and in this case either you print value of m or n, or you print a and b, it both will print 100 and 200 while in the case of call by reference. But while in the case of call by value, it will print a and b value 10 and 20, and m and n would be of 100 and 200. So this is the difference between call by value and call by reference. I hope you people understand with the help of the given structure. Now So we have performed two practicals based on call by value and call by reference, that is program number P55 and P56 that you need to write in the journal. I would like to perform few more practicals which is based on the call by reference. So let me switch again inside the DOS box. Whatever programs we have performed, right, that would be by default using call by value only. So I would like to perform more practicals using call by reference. So example of call by reference, generally this program is asked in the examination in the 5 mark in theory exam. That's why I have performed over here. Swapping two values using third variable, right? But normally we have performed this program using call by value only. Whatever program we have performed up till, that is call by value only. So let us clear the program using call by reference. iostream.h has include conio.h void main clear screen and get ch. I would like to develop one UDF void swap. Again this UDF is just not returning any value, but it contains the argument list. So with argument no return value function I have developed, because we need to pass or we need to swap two values, that's why I have declared two integers over here, and that is the reference variable. So I have passed the ampersand sign over here. Now I have declared 10 and b equals to 20 over here. Then let me call the swap function simply a and b. Whatever the coding we have performed in our previous program, right, that technique over here you can use. There is no changes over here. I have used the same variable. In our previous program we have taken m and n. If you wish to take that variable you can take. Right now I am repeating the same variable. I need to use third variable c over here. Using third variable, it is there in our definition, that's why I have taken one integer variable over here. Value of a and b. Before swapping a, I want to put one space in between a and b value. Now let me apply the logic. The simple logic is c equals to a equals to b and b equals to c. These three lines which we have already performed in our previous program. Now after applying the logic of this, right, we will get the value of swapping. So value of a and b after applying swapping, and I am again going to repeat the above line. I would like to put a space in between two values of a variable. That's why I have concat this string using double quotations, right. Let me save the given code by pressing F2. This is the program number 57, p57.c++, right. See, we don't apply any changes regarding the program. We just applied ampersand sign to pass the value of two variable. The remaining logic keeps as it is. There is no changes in the logic. Just we have used ampersand sign to catch the reference. Let me run the given code. See, before swapping the value of a and b is 10 and 20, but after swapping the value of a becomes 20 and b becomes 10. But remember one thing, over here it will swap the address of a and b, it will not swap the value of a and b. So this is the swapping of two values using third variable, but the program which the definition only it specifies the you need to use the technique call by reference. Now suppose, see, the same program you need to perform, right, but you need to use call by reference using pointer. Remember one thing, my definition is such, I need to swap two values using third variable. This is the simple definition, but concept they have given to me is call by reference using pointer, right? Then a bit changes you need to apply. Let me save as the given file because the code remains as it is, p58.c++, right? Let me make a correction over here using pointer p58, right? Now instead of passing reference, I am going to take a value of pointer, right? Now over here I need to pass the address of A and address of B. That address is going to store in the pointer variable A and pointer variable B. Integer C is the normal variable I have taken. Pointer A, pointer I am going to perform swapping because pointer A, pointer B, again pointer B. C is the simple value of address A. That value is 10 and we are going to store it into the C. After that we are going to store the value at address of B, that is 20, which we are going to store inside the A. And after that the value of C, which we have already stored by the 10, it is going to be stored in the value of address of B, that is 20 would be overwritten. Right now A is my pointer variable. For such I need to apply the pointer, right, because I am going to store value at the address of A and value of the address of B. Now let me save the given code by pressing F2 key. We have already stored the given code, and right now let me run the code. See the value before swapping and the value after swapping. In this way you can swap two values of a variable using pointer. The pointer generally is used to swap the address of variable instead of passing the value. Now let us perform last program of today's session, and the concept is known as the program which is example of return by reference. Return by reference means we need to create such kind of UDF in which it returns the value not by value, it is by the reference, right? So let me include two header files first, then we need to return the value. That's why I have declared data type integer, because only if you specify the data type of the function, at that time it returns the value. Then we need to require ampersand sign because our concept is written by the reference. So ampersand sign, then the name of the function, that is maximum function, because I want to find two values. I need to input two values of a variable and I need to find the maximum out of that two values, right? Now let me input two values by initializing the value at the declaration type of a variable, clear screen, then get ch, then let me call answer. One more variable I need to declare over here, because see, our function returns a value, right? Which type of variable which type of data type we have used over here, that is integer, right? So I have taken answer variable as an integer, Now I can call my maximum function using answer variable, maximum a comma b. This is a function with argument with returns value, right? So we need to input from the void main as well as it returns the value to the void main. So we need to print answer over here inside void main only. Maximum value is and answer. Now let me develop maximum function integer max, integer ampersand a. Again over here you can take any variable. I am going to repeat a and b. If, let me put the logic, if a equals to b, a greater than b, at that time we need to return the value of a, else we need to return the value of b. Right? Now one question I would like to ask over here, that while I have teach you the function with argument with return value, at that time I have told you that one UDF can contain only one return statement, right? Over here we have written two return statements. Why? See, because only one return is going to be executed. Either the first condition is true, at that time it will return the value of a. Suppose this condition is false, in this case it will return the value of b, right? So over here our function, before declaring the name of the function, I have used the sign of ampersand, which is called the concept of return by reference. The value when you are going to return to the function, at that time void is not there, but whatever the type of value, I am going to return the integer value. That's why I have taken integer data type over here. And once you are going to, whatever the function type is there, right now it is integer, so I have declared answer variable as a integer. Suppose this function returns a float value, at that time you need to declare answer as a float variable. So this is all about the concept of returning the value. This is program number 59, P59. Let me run the given code. It will produce the same output. Whatever the maximum value is there, it will return to the void main. Right now the value of b is maximum, that's why it will return the 20 to the void main. It stores 20 inside the answer, and answer is printed on the screen. Suppose we are going to maximize the value of a by 100. In such situation it will return the maximum value is 100, right? Let me share the programs which we have performed today, which you need to write in the journal. This is the first program of today's session, that is call by value. Over here it is written 5, but you need to write program number 55 in the journal, because our unit is still continue, right? Unit number 1, we are in that. This is the program number P56. This you need to write in the journal. This is called by reference. This is the second program which is performed by us. Call by reference, but we have performed swapping using third variable. This program can be asked into the exam. You need to perform the swapping of two values using third variable, but the concept you apply is call by reference. For such, there is only one changes you need to perform is you need to pass ampersand sign with the function argument, right? The remaining code remains as it is, just you need to apply ampersand sign over here. Program number 58, call by reference using pointer. In that condition, you need to apply pointer to the function argument. Over here, while calling the swap function, you need to pass the sign of ampersand, because instead passing value, you are passing the address of that particular variable. And while you are going to use that variable, you need to apply the pointer instead of directly applying the value. And the last program is return by reference. Return by reference is nothing but while you are declaring function, at that time ampersand sign you need to use, and you need to put whatever the data type of the return type of function, that return type you need to write over here. While in the function argument also you need to pass the ampersand sign. In this way you can write the whatever the logic is there. I have clarified why the two return statement work inside the same function, because at a time it will return the single statement. So these all programs you need to write in your journal. Program number 59 is the last program up till today's session. One more file I want to share over here, that is the chart I have shown you during the difference of call by value and call by reference. Remember one thing, when you write this program of call by reference, at that time at the last of your program, or wherever the program you have mentioned of call by value, you need to draw this inside memory block, right, with the pencil, so that while you learn the program you can understand the concept easily. Similarly, for the call by reference variable program, when you are going to write this program, at that time inside memory structure you need to write with the pencil in the journal only, right. You need to write this both structures, right. So this is more than enough for our today's session. Thank you all.